first started my business, my biggest problem was undoubtedly this. I had 100 things that really should be done this week, but none of them absolutely needed to be done today. And even though I always thought of myself as someone productive and organized, I wasn't getting things done, just shamefully unproductive. In my life up to this point, I had accomplished and even excelled at everything I had tried. I had university degrees in computer science and information science. And I had just quit a software engineering job at Adobe, and I was gonna, just so that I could try working for myself. But in this new context of working for myself, I was really floundering. But I can say this is not a problem that I suffer from now. I figured this one out, and now I have new problems, mostly stemming from the fact that I do too much. So if that problem, having a ton that really should be done soon, but no single item just absolutely has to get done today, and you struggle to hustle and get to it without, real deadlines, if that problem rings true to you, then keep watching. By the way, hi, I'm Kate. I make videos about productivity and organization, and I run a software company that makes productivity software and printables. And really, it was this problem that brought me to where I am today. I had quit Adobe to be a digital nomad, and I was trying consulting because that was what you did in 2010 when you were a software engineer who wanted to work and travel. But I really didn't like client work, and that switch between too much work and no work and great clients and bad clients. So I decided to stop consulting and build an app. Right away, this was a whole other world. I had this huge engineering project in front of me, build an app, with no real sense of when it would be done or if it would ever make money. And to work 8 hours a day, writing software without a feeling of progress at the end of the day is really demotivating. And in the beginning, I had lots of app ideas, and I thought I would try to make a couple and see what stuck. But I was struggling so much with productivity that I decided first I needed to build the to-do list app of my dreams. Then that would solve all my productivity problems, very engineering type thinking there, and then I'd go on and build other things. Spoiler of the story, I never built those other apps. The to-do list app, Simply Goals and Tasks, is available now in the Google Play Store, became my life's work. Now, technology is not the solution as often as we think it is, especially in productivity. In productivity, the solution is normally psychology. And I knew that. I had been, and still today, take a lot of courses on productivity, as well as business courses, which often have a lot of productivity stuff kind of mixed in there. So I had read the best books and taken the best courses on goal setting and wheel of life and project planning and all the things. But that didn't really translate to being productive now, day to day. It was all really motivating at the time, but then the next morning I still slept in, still went to the cafe for my cappuccino cornetto, and then maybe went shopping. I was living in Rome at the time, and I probably wouldn't even get started work until afternoon. So what's the missing piece? I refuse to believe that I'm just a lazy, no good human being who can't work hard. Now, all the experts talk about deadlines and accountability and how important they are. And also on the opposite end of the spectrum, the non-experts sharing their productivity struggles also talk about how they are often only ever really productive when they're under the knife with a fast approaching deadline, bordering on just impossible to even meet. So I think the missing piece between those big lofty goals and the day-to-day actually doing the work is meaningful deadlines. What do I mean by meaningful deadlines? Well, first let me describe arbitrary deadlines. Arbitrary deadlines are when you have a long list of things to do and you randomly pick out 5 and put them in your calendar for Monday. And you're setting this deadline yourself, for yourself. Any of them could just easily be done on Tuesday, and you know that. But you're putting it in your calendar and you're committing to yourself, you're gonna get them done on Monday. This does not work for me. For one, I always want to be ambitious and also give myself some options. That options thing is actually dangerous ground. It's kind of setting myself up to switch tasks and abandon work as soon as it gets a little hard. But anyway, I put more than I can realistically do on Monday into Monday. And at the first temptation to stop working, I stop. I knew I was never going to get all that done. So, draw the line here, roll the rest into Tuesday, and let's, go enjoy the evening. So that's arbitrary deadlines. You're trying to be good and schedule your work and plan your projects just like the experts say, but the motivation is missing. Why do I need to set an alarm and drag myself out of bed to do this now? Why should I turn down a party invite to meet a deadline that I set myself and could easily change with no consequences? Why should I work late tonight to finish this today? The flexibility to be able to say, nope, no reason, for any of those questions, just go do the fun thing, is why a lot of us go into self-employment in the first place. But you can't always sleep in and cut out early and take the long lunch and take Wednesday off. You do have to also work, and that includes working when you don't want to. So what are meaningful deadlines and how will they actually motivate us? I call this flexible scheduling, and it's flexible because you don't set an exact date and time for every single task as soon as it comes onto your radar or pops into your head. If it just has to be done in September, you don't put it in your calendar on September 1st, you put it in your planner for September. And yes, I said planner, we'll talk about tools later on. But this is really important when setting your own deadlines. If something has to be done in September, you just put it in September. If it has to be done next week, you just put it in next week. You do not ever just randomly pick a day. Arbitrarily pick a day. The only reason people do this is so that it's in their calendar. That is a problem of your tools, not fitting the problem, but again, we'll talk about tools later. Doing it this way, every single task that you have down to do Monday actually needs to be done on Monday. You do not let any could be done Monday, could be done Tuesday tasks into Monday's plan. And in this way, if Monday's list is really long, when my alarm goes off in the morning, I get up and I start hustling. If I'm not done by the evening, after dinner, I come back to my desk. I work hard the same way I would if it was an external deadline. I'm able to do that for my own deadlines because my own deadlines are real and meaningful to me. And just a disclaimer, I'm not advocating for working, 15-hour days. I basically work part-time. But I'm talking about kicking your own butt, getting yourself motivated to do the things you want to do and that you're capable of. Let me talk more about the how. If you put a task in September and just leave it there, good chance it's never actually gonna get done. Personally, on any given Monday, if I finish everything I had set to do that day, I'm gonna go do something fun. I'm very rarely gonna seek out another work task. So tasks scheduled for this month or this week would have all the same problems we talked about at the beginning. Why do it today when you could do it tomorrow? So obviously that's no good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom in and zoom out. I made a video about this. I'll put it here and in the description. But of course, I'll still talk about it now. Zooming out and looking at your annual quarters or your months is really good for goal setting and for looking farther in the future. And then you wanna gradually zoom in for the execution, for the day-to-day actually doing the work. So think zoomed out to your whole year. What do you want to get done this year? And then zooming in one step at a time to quarters optionally, but then definitely your month and your week, and then you're zoomed in all the way executing when you plan your day. Optionally, you could plan your day out hour by hour. Now, how does that actually solve the problem? The original problem is having, for example, 40 hours of things you really want to get done this week. But not a single one of them absolutely needs to get done on Monday. So it's really a struggle to work for 8 hours on Monday. 8 hours is a long time if you don't actually have to do it. But intellectually we know, yeah, I want to do this 40 hours of work this week and I don't want to work more than 8 hours any day. So something has to be done on Monday. Let me show you how this zooming in and out method actually helps you set meaningful deadlines for yourself. So let's do an example. Let's say you're planning out your June. June can be a kind of crazy month. I have a big family, so there's always a bunch of graduation parties and first communions and weddings. And of course, the school year is wrapping up, and that comes with a bunch of events too. Let's also say, for the example, that I want to refinish my deck this June. April and May were too rainy, and I really want it done for the summer. Also, for the example, let's say one of those parties I mentioned I'm actually hosting and self-catering. Of course, I'm not taking the month off of work. Let's even say I have a big project that I want to finish this month. Could be a client project, could be a launch, depending on what my business is in this example. But I really want to finish it in June because in July we're taking our own family vacation, and of course the kids are home from school, so it's just a lot harder to, get real work done. And of course that other category of base level, always their work, the housework or the mom work, gotta of course do all those things, and actually probably even a little extra because I want the house nice and sparkly clean for the party I'm hosting. So all that's just a made up example, but I think it's a pretty relatable example June. So right now, all of that, I think that was a lot, is just in June. But we have dates for a couple things. The party I'm hosting, that's gonna be the 3rd weekend, and the other parties we're going to, they're gonna be the 2nd and 4th weekends. And now, process of elimination, when can I refinish the deck? Let's say I really want it done on the weekend, I'm gonna have help available to me on the weekend. The only weekend we still have free is the 1st. So we can, schedule that in right now for that first Saturday and Sunday in June. We're definitely refinishing the deck that weekend. It has to be done that weekend. And also that week before the party I'm hosting, I can put all the party prep tasks into that week just the week at this point. I'm not picking specific days. And now that week is looking kind of full. So I want to pick a different week for finishing that work project. Let's look at the earlier 2 weeks in June, and I will pick whichever one is not my kids' last week of school, because I want a little extra free time on my kids' last week of school. And you can see already, we started with this thought dump of all these things that we wanted to get done in June, and it actually looked kind of overwhelming. But now we've structured it just a little bit, and it's looking a lot more manageable now. Yeah, I've always got that base level of tasks that just like always need to get done. But I have a week where I am focusing on finishing that work project. I've got a week to give my kids extra attention, and the week before I'm hosting that party, I've got nothing extra planned that week. And we even scheduled the decor finishing for 2 weeks before the party I'm hosting. And you can see the difference, right? Why would I force myself to finish that work project the first week in June when all I really care about is that it's done by July? Well, if I don't want to be working on it on my kids' last week of school or the week I'm hosting the party, now I see it does actually have to get done that first week. And then you would zoom in again one more level to plan your week and again to plan your day using that same method. Start with the things that do actually have a fixed time. And then by process of elimination, you see that those other things do actually need to get done in those other little pockets of open time if they're actually going to get done this month or this week or today. And that is how you set meaningful deadlines. You start with the task that you don't really care when it gets done, but you would really like it done in June. And then you plan your month and see actually the second week is the best time to do that. And then you plan your week and you see that actually like Tuesday is the best day to do this. And then when Tuesday rolls around, you know that if you want this done in June, you gotta do it today, or it's not gonna get done, or something else you wanted to get done isn't gonna get done in June. Okay, let's circle back to tools, planners, apps. The only requirement here is that you have a planner with a space to plan your month and plan your week, plan your day. And now, planning your month does not mean a calendar view. It means a list, a place to list out all of the tasks that you're gonna do in that month. You need a place in your planner where you can write out tasks that just need to get done in June. You don't know what day yet. Same for the week. You need to be able to put a task in next week without saying the exact day. For example, this happens all the time, something pops up and a task I was going to do today or tomorrow needs to get moved to next week. When that happens, I need a place to put that task for just next week. I don't want my planner to force me to randomly, arbitrarily pick a day, because that is an arbitrary deadline, and arbitrary deadlines are the enemy. There are many planners that do this, but there's also a lot that don't. Many planners are basically just a calendar in book format, and it's a place to record set dates and times. A good planner is a tool that helps you make the plan. It's not just recording dates that are already set. For planner apps, it's harder to find one with this kind of flexibility. Of course, my app, Simply Goals and Tasks, does it. My app's free. Everything you need is free. Only like color themes and like extreme power user features get unlocked with the paid version. Otherwise, for an app that's actually a tool for planning, you're probably looking at project management software that's more made for enterprise, but can be, and lots of people do use them for personal use. My company also made a printable planner on Etsy that may or may not have launched by the time this gets uploaded. I'm still working out the details of my own late summer schedule. But if that interests you, the details for that would be at paper.simply.digital. So this video was about the specific problem of having 100 things to do this week, but none of them absolutely need to get done today. And I've answered how I do it. I do it by avoiding arbitrary deadlines like the plague, and instead doing what I call flexible scheduling, that zooming in and out. It seems pretty simple, but it is fundamentally different from the simple to-do list or the calendar that most people default to for managing their tasks. And I really just skimmed the surface today. Personally, managing my tasks this way has made the biggest difference for just me to be able to set really big goals and make them happen. Check out this video that goes deeper into making that connection between your zoomed out big picture goals and your zoomed in day-to-day execution. And I think you can also have, even more success making your dreams and your goals actually happen. So thank you for watching, hug, and I'll see you over there.